What's up everybody, it's Rowan Gaming here. So I've taken a break of maybe about 6 days or something because I kind of felt burnt out on making videos, so I just felt like I really needed that break, and so I decided to do it because it was for the better ultimately. Right now I feel way more motivated to make more videos, so look forward to a lot more of them coming up from now on again. But pretty much what we're gonna discuss in this video, I guess it's kind of time for the, for the weekly Naughty Dog employee leaving the studio segment, because it's once again happened, and it's pretty crazy with, of course, the amount of people that we've seen leave the studio, especially in the higher up positions in the last few years. But now Cogburn has announced that he is leaving Naughty Dog, or already has left actually a little while ago, while at the same time immediately joining another studio, but I'll get to that in a bit. But Cogburn pretty much served as one of the lead game designers for all of the Naughty Dog games in the last 9 years, going from Uncharted 2 to 3, a little bit of The Last of Us as well, I think, and Uncharted 4. He was known not just as a regular game designer, but also as one of the leads as far as the multiplayer goes, so most of the decisions would always, at the end of the day, go through him, right? And so he did get, I noticed always in the past, he got quite some shit for that from people online and on the forums. They would always put the blame on Cogburn, right? Because he was the lead. And maybe to some extent, like, I get it, because as a lead, you do have the final say, of course, in decisions that are made. But at the same time, it is a team effort. So if there's something that you're complaining about as far as a game goes, don't put the blame on one developer. Put the blame, on the team, or just talk constructively about what is wrong and what needs to be fixed, of course. But nonetheless, I think looking a little bit at what, of course, Cogburn has been responsible for at Naughty Dog, I have always been a really big fan of all the Naughty Dog multiplayer games. It counts for all of them. From Uncharted 2 to 3, The Last of Us and 4, I've enjoyed them all in their own ways. At the same time, it could not be denied that all of them pretty much had their issues. And that's like the one thing that I've always found to... It felt always so unsatisfying to me, because I always felt like Naughty Dog multiplayers never got the recognition that they deserved. And part of that was maybe just to blame on the fact that, hey, it's an exclusive game and people think that's people see an amazing single player and they just don't bother with the multiplayer afterwards. But part of it is also that I just saw that Naughty Dog made some weird decisions, and that they didn't always just give the support to their, to their multiplayer components that it kind of did deserve, in my opinion, right? And looking back at all of the multiplayers that they made, Uncharted 2 had this really weird decision where I think a couple of weeks or months in, they decided to completely change up the health system and pretty much give players like 50% less or something of it, which turned the game just into a completely different type of experience, more resemblant to a Call of Duty or something, where, you instantly die pretty much if you're being shot at. And many fans were very unsatisfied with that. In Uncharted 3, of course, in the first few months, maybe even the first year or something, they had many balancing issues where it seemed like they kept nerfing certain guns while making other ones overpowered at the same time as well. In The Last of Us, of course, we saw that they started introducing all this pay-to-win stuff, these weapons that you literally could not access unless you paid for them, like the tactical shotgun, and so that really, did something that the community did not like at all. And in Uncharted 4, I guess my main complaint was that, of course, it was very different from the other multiplayers that they made, I would say, in a way. Or it was kind of more similar to... It's like they took Uncharted multiplayer and added more The Last of Us components to it, I guess, with the, revive system and everything. But I think ultimately, my biggest complaint was simply the fact that it kind of lacked content and variety at launch, and maybe even like, 2 years almost into it right now, we've seen some game modes being introduced, but still, there was just not a lot of options there for like solo players, no free-for-all mode or something like that. And at the same time, yeah, there were always, of course, many smaller decisions that were made that people also didn't really understand why that was always the case. So in that way, like, we're gonna have to wait and see if Naughty Dog can finally in the future put out this multiplayer that will be like, flawless from day one, and that people are going to really enjoy. But yeah, like I said, Cogburn would always maybe get a little bit of hate for the decisions that were made. At the same time, it is a team effort, and I think ultimately he's definitely going to be missed, and, he made a huge impact nonetheless on making these multiplayers great, because that's what, for me personally at least, the way I look at it, all 4 of these multiplayer games that they've done, yeah, all 4 of them were great in their own way. And so in that way, it does suck to see him leave. Now, he is going to be joining a new studio called Wonderful Studios, I believe, which only was started not too long ago, I think. And I actually found out it was founded by, or at least one of the co-founders, I guess, was the game director for Uncharted 3, Justin Richmond, who left pretty much almost together with Amy Hennig back in 2014. So that's interesting. They've also been hiring a couple of other people from Naughty Dog. So I found out that pretty much like one of the lead programmers on all the Naughty Dog games up to Uncharted 4 also left the studio like a year ago and joined Wonderful Studios. So that team is kind of like made up of a couple of, you know, ex and big Naughty Dog employees. So I'm very curious to see what they will put out in the future. It seems like a very small team, and apparently they are very ambitious at the same time, because they're working on this game while at the same time having a TV show for Netflix alongside of it, and they will kind of like coincide with each other or something. So I think that's definitely interesting, and I'll make sure to yeah, you know, keep my eyes peeled on that project and see what exactly is going on there. But ultimately, like I said, you know, the one thing that you're always left with is the fact that it's just a little weird looking back at what Naughty Dog used to be, you know, like, Jesus, it's been like 9 years since Uncharted 2 came out. If you look at the credits for a game like that, you'll notice that all pretty much the people on top of the credits, like, so many of them are gone now, and so the studio looks completely different than it used to. But that's just the way it goes. People leave, people come in, and at the end of the day, Naughty Dog right now is still on top of that game. And you know, like, we've had no signs yet whatsoever that their games have, like, gone downhill as far as quality goes, right? But you do see that sometimes happen for other studios, and we've seen that in the past, and it tells you that, you know, you might see a certain name of a company that you trust on the box of a game, but it doesn't always mean that it's, you know, that it's like, that it guarantees quality, right? Because, yeah, 5 years in, a studio can already look completely different with many different people working for it, and you'll see that, you know, sometimes, yeah, the vision pretty much could be lost, or, yeah, like, the quality level, I guess, right? And so, like I said, that doesn't count for Naughty Dog whatsoever right now, but still, it does tell you that a company is just a company, and it doesn't guarantee at all that the same people are going to be working there, and that the company stays the exact same for this whole duration, right? So, yeah, Robert Cogburn is going to be missed at Naughty Dog, and nonetheless, I'm very interested to see what he does next, and what Naughty Dog as well does next, of course. But that being said, really quickly before I end this video off, I'll let you know really quickly that tomorrow at, I think, around 8 AM UK time, I'll be uploading my review for the Shadow of the Colossus remake on the PS4. And I can't say anything yet about it, of course, except that I've played it a ton, and that I'm very, very pretty much interested, I guess, in sharing my thoughts with you about the game. So make sure you check that out tomorrow. It's gonna be a cool review, no doubt. So check that out tomorrow. Shadow of the Colossus remake for the PS4 review up on the channel, 8 AM UK time, like I said. And then for now, yeah, thanks a lot everybody for watching. Let me know your thoughts, of course, in the comments as always. And then I hope to see you again next time.